Peace. Peace and wisdom. It's the wise man Solace here. Today I want to do this very deep video called Spirit Sharing. Now this video is very important because in today's times everyone speaks of energy being passed and received. So you hear people speak of negative energy, positive energy. This person's giving off this kind of energy and that kind of energy. And we all speak in this manner. But I want everyone to grasp, all you have in life are the living things in it, and the energy or spirit within them. So grasp. When you speak of attracting energy, you're attracting spirits because that's the only energy there is in life. So grasp, the energy that's in a television or a radio, you're not attracting that. That's artificial or altered energy. But true energy is within the life. All the living things you see, the energy is within that. And we call that the spirit. So you have to grasp, when you're speaking about energy receiving or pushing off, you're speaking of spirits. It's a very deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now, in order for y'all to truly grasp this, I need to break down the real existence that we live in, because we kind of have things confused. You have living beings, or spirits in bodies. And we all know bodies perish eventually, but the energy within remains. And we call this a spirit. Now I need y'all to grasp, there's no separation in the existence. We think spirit world is over here and physical world is here, but that's completely wrong. Spirits are right amongst us all. It's no separation in the existence. Now it's supposed to be, but sometimes spirits do not ascend where they're supposed to their realm of the life. So it's like physical water. When you boil physical water, as the physical water disappears or evaporates or decays, you get the vapor or the steam, as we would call it. And the steam rises because the steam doesn't exist where the physical water exists. So it rises up. But sometimes it doesn't. So we have foggy, cloudy days. Sometimes you see the vapor sitting right on top of the ocean or the creek or the lake. So it's the same with the energy of men, or the vapor or the spirit of a man or a woman. Upon death, the spirit is supposed to rise to its place, but depending on the damage the spirit accumulated in the physical will depend if it rises. When I say damage, I'm speaking of physical attachments, like children, addictions, things like this. This is what keeps a spirit attached to physical realm. So it's a deep thing. Now, in order for y'all to grasp this, I need y'all to grasp the orders of life, so to say. So you have earth, and then you have the lower heavens above earth. And then you have the higher heavens above that. Now, there's three parts to the lower heavens. So you have the lower heavens in its three parts. So you have the highest parts of the lower heavens and the lower parts of the lower heavens. In the middle part of the lower heavens. And then you have the higher heavens in its three parts, meaning the highest, higher part of the higher heavens and the lower part of the higher heavens. Now, in between the higher heavens and the lower heavens, you have the bridge of chin. And this is its own separate heaven. So you can reference this to like the chakras within the man. You have the lower chakras, the highest chakras, and then you have the solar plex chakra or the soul chakra, which is the central point between the two. Now, I guess I'll come back at a later time and do a video breaking down the seven heavens of this existence we live in. But there's no separation between the heavens. They transcend into one another. But this is the order, and you know, when a man dies, his spirit, just like water vapor, will ascend up to his rightful place somewhere in the first heavens. Now, like I said, if a man's spirit accumulated a lot of physical damage, you know, sins and guilts and children, these things keep a man spirit heavy, so to say, keep him weighed down to physical realm. So it's a deep thing. Now, as far as the higher heavens go, no one's dying from like physical state and going to the higher heavens. I mean, for God's sakes, we all eat. So maybe a newborn baby would, but no physical person upon death will be going to the highest heavens. But you know, you work your way through the life. But in any event, you have some spirits who don't even go to the lowest of the lower heavens. Doesn't even go to the first part of the lower heavens. Stays down here with man, attached to their children, their addictions, whatever the case may be, but they stay attached. Now, I did a video called The Secret of Prayer. You can reference that video or go watch that video if you kind of lost in what I'm saying here. But I want to speed through so I can get you guys to grasp the spirit sharing that's going on right now in today's times. So now you have the three heavens. All the lower heavens, the upper heavens, and the bridge in between. But then you have the earth. The earth has nothing to do with the heavens, but the earth is the physical plane, the physical level of existence. Now, you have the spirits that did not ascend up to the lower heavens, and they stayed down here, grafting themselves onto men through their addictions or whatever the case may be. Now, I don't want you to get lost and think of this like some type of movie. But, you know, we exist and we live how we live, and there's spirits all amongst us living and doing what they do. You can say they kind of use us like how we use trees. You want to taste the fruit you pluck from the tree. If they want to indulge into the physical desires or the physical nature of the life, then you know they'll attach themselves to us. Now, I don't want you to think like a movie where they jump in your brain or jump in your body and start controlling you or something, but they weigh on the light or the conscious. So when a man smokes a blunt, there's the smoke. This is the astral of the blunt, and they can indulge in that aspect of it. So, you know, when I say attach themselves to men, I mean just be around, all around you. And, you know, they exist right around us. But, you know, they do their own thing. But sometimes, you know, they attach themselves to some people. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they come and go. Some people have the same spirits that have been with them since kids attached to them. And, you know, they weigh on the conscious. So now let's say a man is addicted to weed. So now spirits will attach themselves to his conscious or his light and begin to weigh on that so that he indulges. So none of us really have addictions, but the addiction is the spirits weighing on the person's conscious. So it's a deep thing. We indulge in alcohol beverages and things like this. And, you know, that's where that addicting craving comes from. The spirits who have not ascended to their rightful place. So it's a deep thing. They kind of afflict men because you wouldn't have addiction or obesity or people overindulging in drugs. You wouldn't have that. Meaning a person could smoke weed, anything, and never become addicted. But the addiction comes from the spirits because they still trying to indulge. So they're weighing on the spirit of the person. So this is why, man, like, I'm not smoking today. And it's like he like, man, it's like something just keep fucking with me. I gotta blow. That's what, like Pookie said in New Jack City, it's calling me. It's deep. That addiction that we have, whatever it may be, a shopping addiction, a drinking addiction, or you addicted to being in love, that thing that draws you to it and makes you addicted where you can't control yourself and you like, man, I really cannot control myself when it comes to this. It's the spirits. They call lost spirits in hell. The physical is called hell in life, so to say. So in the all of life, the physical is the lowest part of life. It's the hell. Look what you have to do to stay here. You have to sustain yourself off other life forms. It makes you lose your morality. It's deep. But it's viewed in that way. So you have, this is why they say don't have sex and things like this, because these things make you attached to the physical life. Life is longer than the physical. So now when you die, you attach to your kids, afflicting their lives. Because you're weighing on them. So it's deep. We don't really grasp these things. And I don't want people to think, oh, it's just one spirit, two spirits. You can have 1,000 of them just around you. They like, man, this person's going to indulge. And they weigh on the spirit. Now, here's where it's deep. Because we all chill around one another. Meaning, you're a person, I'm a person. I may be around you, you may be around me. Now, everybody has their spirits or spirits that's around them. Some people have spirits that's attached to them. And then you just have spirits all wandering around. Now, we don't see any of this because we're in the body. But it's a real thing. Now, I want you to grasp. Let's say I'm talking to you. You got your spirits weighing on you, whatever addictions you have, whatever troubles you may have in life. That's what these things come from. And I have mine. Now, we're around each other on a daily basis. So now your spirits may become familiar with me. So let's put it into an example of a woman, and she meets a man. Now, this woman, she doesn't indulge in the drugs, but she begins to be with this man. Maybe a year later, she's all indulged in the drugs like this man. And you like, yo, she did a 360, man. He bringing her down. She don't even fool with drugs, but she been with him and she is. Now, we all know similar situations like this. It may not be that, but something like that. And you like, damn, this person and came into contact with that person and they doing all type of shit they normally don't. That person's spirits done said, man, I like this person better. Start weighing on his spirit, causing him to do things he normally wouldn't. So, the thought may surface in a person's mind, and then the spirits is there. They weighing on the conscious to keep the thought there, so that you eventually give in and indulge. And we all pass spirits amongst one another. And it's a deep thing. I've had this happen to me many times. It's a deep thing. Now that I'm in a certain place of wisdom, I grasp. I went through certain hardships in life. And it's because I took on other people's spirits that were grafted to them. Kind of relieved them of their own spirits. And, them spirits begin to weigh on me. And, just interfere with my growth in life and just had me in a dark place for a while and going through unnecessary hardships, but lessons were learned. So it's a good thing. I don't want to go in depth because then I would have to speak on, the people whose spirits I attracted. And I don't want anyone to feel bad or, we like to judge people, and this is not about that. This is just about understanding. But, I've been through this. I'm not just speaking, This is not just, a good story to push out. But this is life, and we have to begin to look at everything like that. And this is life, and we pass on and attract each other's spirits. So it's not necessarily the person. You may come into contact with somebody, and then after you leave them, you're in aggravated spirits. But the spirits that were weighing on them may have just grafted onto you, and being as though you were vulnerable or had a lack of morality somewhere and had the negative thoughts within you, they were able to latch on, and follow you around. I don't want you to think like they on your back like a book bag or something, but just following you around, weighing on your morality, your thoughts, and it's deep. Real deep. But we all do this all day long to one another. Come into contact with one another. And spirits are just being, not, I don't want to make it sound like they're being passed around, but they're following who they choose. And it's all a matter of a lack of morality. You ever notice, like, it's deep. People that lie and live a lie, they don't like to be around me. Because I call them out. Like, stop. I don't like that I don't like that fake shit. They shy away. So it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. It's like that with the spirits. If a person's morality is too much, they shy away. Like the same way you see it in the physical. If a man is deep, you can see it in physical men. Like I'm a small guy, but you'll see big men shy away from me. Like, I don't like him. But it's a fear. Because the spirit is the spirit. It don't really matter the physical body. So it's a deep thing we got to start grasping, but it be the spirits around people shying away as well. Like, oh, hell no, get the fuck away from that nigga. And, a person like, man, I don't like his energies, but it's their spirits weighing. So it's deep. A man that's living that life deep in the streets, he don't like to be around pastors, and not to say they good, but he don't like to be around what we view as good. Because he like, man, that shit gonna fuck up my... So it's deep. And it's the same with the energies or the spirits. You pass them around, some shy away from others, and it's a deep thing. You may be good. In your nature, have good morality. And then you hang out every day with somebody who do what they do. But it don't affect you physically in any way. That's their thing. It's your boy since day one, but that's his thing. Oh well. But it's deep. He got his spirits with him as well as you have yours. Now, you may have a lot of morality, so you may just have one lost spirit following you around, and maybe a loved one that's just attached, and it just come around once in a while and follow you around. But for the most part, you spiritless free. You do you. And he may have spirits all attached and grafted onto him. Indulge in liquor, weed, all types of things. And he just got an abundance of spirits all grafted to him. And it's a deep thing because that can begin to weigh on your morality. You start to see drinking, smoking. Not to say these things are bad. I'm just giving you an example. But a person that doesn't drink or smoke, they may begin to see this. They see it as a bad thing. This is why they don't do it. But as they begin to hang around this person, then they start to see it not as bad as they did at one point in time. And in that, the morality levels is dropping. Giving his spirits, a chance to, weigh on yours now. Because, you could say you weakened a little bit. And it's a deep thing. This is why if you read the Bible and it says, when Jesus was tempted by the Satan and he went to the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. Now the wilderness is the forest. So whenever you hear the wilderness, this means no city. And where you don't have city, it's the forest. So Jesus went to the forest when he was being tempted by the Satan. Now, a lot of people may think, why did he go to the forest? To be alone? No. Understanding of living men and spirits. So Jesus was wise. He know lost spirits are not in the forest. Grasp, a man that's living, that lives in a city, he don't go to the forest. Now, when that man's died, his spirit ain't going to no goddamn forest. Why would he? It's attached to his kids or whatever he's staying for. So he's not going to the forest. So Jesus understood the men that live in the forest, they're not influenced or conditioned by the city and the lack of morality of it. Therefore, when they die, some of their spirits may stick around for their loved ones, but these spirits are not lost like the ones in the city. So this is why he said he went to the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, and the angels ministered to him. So it's giving you like a separation in the spirits between the lost spirits in hell, that's like just lost, wandering, and, the good spirits. That's, they lost as well, or still attached to the physical in some aspect as well, but their nature, their physical life, the nature of it, was not as immoral as someone living in a city. So they were able to minister to him, as opposed to the spirits in the city, how they weigh in on our conscience, making us just indulge in the unnecessary shit that we normally wouldn't. So it's a deep thing. This is why I be on the land like that. Because the energy, this I always say is good energy on the land, but I be speaking spirit. But y'all don't grasp that, so I keep it simple for y'all. But it's good spirits on the land, Like I said, men that live in the city are completely different in their nature, in their morality, than men that live in the forest. Men in the forest, they don't have like the status in the judgmental way of one another. They more family, they more one with one another. The love is there. It's a whole different nature. You have to grasp, within all living beings is the spirit of them, or the energy, and that will remain. If it doesn't ascend up, it will remain. And grasp. Men that live physical lives in cities are not running to no goddamn forest. Why would they do that? You don't do that now. So it's deep. And men that lived in the forest, when they die, their spirits ain't running into no goddamn city. Why would they? It's the same conscious. It's the same person. Just out the body. In the same realm, amongst others out the body in the same realm now. So you have to grasp, it's a very deep thing. This is why in the Bible it says things like, if you think a sin, it's like committing it already. That's why. Because once you think it, the spirit's on your ass, man, they're going to weigh on that thought and keep it there. And make you indulge, so they can indulge of the astral aspect of it. Because all physical things have its astral part. So it's just like smoking marijuana. You have the physical marijuana, the tree, you can say, the grass, whatever you want to call it, the reefer, whatever you want to call it. Physical part of it. Then you have, when you light it, the smoke, the vapor. So they indulge in all that. So it's deep. A lot of people smoke. Sometimes you be like, damn, why my smoke just sitting right here? I blew the smoke out my mouth. It just stuck. Stay right there in my face. Grass. Man, it's a deep mother. It's so cold-blooded deep, man. Y'all got the grass. Everything I just said is so real. And y'all little religious texts and things like this, it's telling y'all the same things, but y'all don't grasp life in that way. So the book is not really about like God and religion, but the book is just used for the religion and the God system, but the books is just stories about people in life. And like I said, in the ancient times, they understood. It was no gods and religions. It was just the living and the dead, or what we call the dead. Spirits in bodies and spirits out of them. And they grasp that. Like, we live weird. We think like spirit world is somewhere else and you gonna travel there on a helicopter or some I don't grasp. But in the past they grasped. Life is simple. It's energy in the TV. When the TV blow out, you know the energy somewhere in the room. You feel me? So it's deep. It's the same. When the man dies, what you think the energy hopped on the helicopter or train? Nah. It either ascend up like water vapor ascend up to its place. When I say its place, I mean density level where it's suitable for it. Sometimes it's like I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying till my kid die. Then I'ma go with my kid. And then other spirits come along and they have their own community the same way we do, the same structure. You got spirits that then took over their parts of our realms, but the astral aspect of it or the spiritual aspect of it, because every physical thing has its spiritual or energy side of it. You grasp? If that makes sense to you. So within all of us, you have the spirit and then the conscious. So it's all a matter of density. You got the solid, the spirit, and then the unseen. But the spirits stay down here. They be stuck for whatever reason they choose to be stuck, then they wind up losing their morality more. Because like I said, if physical life is hell, we got to sin against the life to exist. Now they don't got to do none of that no more. Yet they still here. So grass, they just dropping their morality. Indulging in shit they don't even need anymore. So it's deep. Some of the sins we actually need. But I don't want to say need, because you can always just pass on. But it's a very important one, like eating. It's an important want. You don't need to eat, especially as much as we do, but it's an important want, And it's just deep. I don't want to lose you guys or go too deep where y'all can't grasp, but it's a deep, simple thing. Life is all about density. The physical is the densest, the most solid. So it's at the bottom, or you can say the core. So you got the solid, physical part of the life we live in. Then around that, you got the astral, the gassy, cloudy part of life, you can say. And then you got the unseen space around that. Now, I'm just giving you an example. But this is how the first heaven and the second heaven, or the lower heaven and the higher heavens would be. Around, above earth in that way. A matter of density. So I don't want you to think where the clouds are in our realms of life is where the lower heavens begin, but I'm just giving you an example. But the lower heavens begin where they begin. And then you have 3 levels of it. The lower, the midpoint of the lower, and the highest part of the lower heavens. Then you have the bridge of chin heaven, but on top of that, separating that from the higher heavens. And in the higher heavens, you have the lower part of the higher heavens, the mid part, and the highest part of the highest heavens. And it all transcends into one another. So it's no separation. It's like our ground in the air. It transcends, The ground is here, and right above it's the air, and there's no separation mark where you're like, okay, the air starts here, and so it's deep. But a lot of knowledge is just confused, and religions and things like this is stopping y'all from truly grasping how life works and things like this. And it kind of plays on fear. It gets y'all really like nervous. And everything I just said is nothing to be scared of. It's a matter of pity. You know, you don't need to be scared like, oh, it's the spirits around you. They were men. And women, they lost as fuck. Like you, they worse than you. Because they here. Let them be an example to your ass. So it's deep. This is why in these religious texts and things like this, it got so many weird rules, like don't have sex and don't think of sinning. You like, this is ridiculous. Like, why? That's why. Because it'll weigh on you, man, when it's time to pass on. It's deep. The worst thing you can do is what we call die and be attached here. So I don't want you to think like, oh, this is scary. It's just like I explained. Every aspect of the life, we do it to ourselves. It's a matter of ignorance, knowing or not. So you don't need to be afraid of life. I know your religion made you scared, and many of the things it speaks about in the text, like devils and demons, and this is all real. But these things do not view themselves that way. So you got evil men in the life that do horrible things, but they not evil to themselves. You don't see them as evil because you like they here with me. They just a punk ass. They evil, but they ain't, they ain't no evil spirit. Because you don't realize like everybody's a spirit in their body. If he had no body, well, he would be what you would call an evil spirit, but it's nothing to fear. He just lost in his ways. So it's a deep thing, but in the past, people with spirit commune, and they speak to these lost spirits, and they get abundance of knowledge they may not have had, but it's just deep, cold-blooded. This is how you get religions and gods and all the different ceremonies and rites that people do, and eating babies and all this weird stuff that people do, and the different tests that men go through so that they can be a part of what I like to call wisdom societies. They put you through tests, like put you on a wheel and to test the purity of your spirit and stab you with a sword. It's deep. The story how we have in the Bible of Jesus, this is that. It's so cold-blooded. Jesus is deep. We read the Bible not realizing that the Bible, how we read it, is speaking of people that were in a place that they were not native to. So this is why a lot of people in the Bible were referred to as like Hebrews. So the Bible is not speaking of any particular place, but just different places that had people on the land that were not native, and they were referred to as Hebrews. And sometimes they named themselves like Israelites and things like this, and Jews, or whatever the case may be. But Jesus was a Hebrew, whatever the case may be. That means he's an immigrant. And Jesus was truly a Indian, or somebody from those East Asian parts of the world. Now, before a lot of y'all get lost and say, no, this is crazy, grasp. When Jesus was born, wise men from the East came. Grasp. His mother was not married. Wise men from the East came, but his mama wasn't married. Now, you had strict laws in those times. Kings had their wives. Wives. Jesus' mama was just a maid, a servant of some sort. But kings is kings, men are men. You got 10 wives. You see this cute little dirty maid. You like, I'm smashing her. Fuck it. Nobody'll know. But you know, you ain't supposed to do that. You look down upon by the elite. They like, oh, he fucked a servant bitch. So you keep that on the wrap. She happened to get pregnant, you know, you get her out of here. So, you know, they send Mary over to wherever the Bible say they was at, in Bethlehem or whatever. But this is why the men from the east came, because, you know, the king sent his servants, yo, go check on my seed and let me know what's going on with the baby, because I need you to kill it before my wives find out and all these people find out that I've been having sex with servants. I fuck around and lose my status. You have to go kill them. So it's a deep thing. The wise men came to see, like, yeah, you got a son. Look just like you. He don't fit in with those people. He looks Indian. So it's a deep thing. Jesus had to go where people look Indian, like Egypt and shit like that. But, you know, he eventually went back to India, the East Asian countries that he was from. It's a deep thing y'all got to grasp. Put 1 and 2 together with the things I'm saying, because the Bible don't go against anything I'm saying. Y'all just don't read in depth. But my wisdom that I'm speaking on now comes from text that's way, way far ancient than the Bible. In fact, the story of Jesus, this is deeper than Jesus. Many men went through this rites and ceremonies that Jesus went through. So Jesus went through his certain ceremonies and rites that they would go through over in those East Asian countries. And they would test a man's purity. You know, after a person goes through their yogi, I forgot what they call it in their words, but they sanya, I forgot what it's called, sanyasa, something like that. But they go through their little yogi rituals and things like this, deep meditation. They sustain from sex and all this. Basically just build their morality up to the highest state it can be. Then they go through the ceremonies and rites to be brought into the brotherhood. And the ceremony and rites, you know, it's just to test a man's purity of his spirit, to see has he conquered spirit over body. Man conquers spirit over body, you know, then, you know, he can do things that we would perceive as divine. So, you know, they would put him through certain tests like burn him. And, you know, man has power over spirit over body. So you see some of the Buddhist monks do weird shit. You like, damn, he brought his body temperature up so high, y'all. He floated, they do weird shit. And we like, man, that shit is majestical. But they understand what they call the chi. And this is the spirit or the energy source of a person. And what they do is understand that has more power than the physical body. So they kind of understand spirit over body. It's all thought and understanding. They view it as I cannot be burned. Motherfucker, I am the spirit. Within this is deep. It's within the thought. So deeply embedded that you set them on fire, their skin will not burn. It won't catch. And, you know, they go through these different rites. They're tied to the wheel and set over fire, but they don't burn. They have the spirit over body mindset just instilled in them. And then they go through another rites where they're pierced through the hand with the sword. And the sword goes through. But when they pull it out, you know, there's no wound, no blood. Spirit over body. So it's kind of like when you see like certain magicians do they magic tricks and they put this through the hand and needle through the hand and there's no wound. Now they do their little tricks with it, but this was real, you know, spirit over body. The powers of the spirit, understanding the powers of the energy that's within you. And, you know, they pierce them and it leaves no wound, no mark. They feel no pain. Like they say, pain is in the mind. And they understand every aspect of these things. I'm trying to skim through it before the camera cuts off. But I guess I'll come back and do a full breakdown. But he went through these rites and ceremonies, the piercing of the hand. And the last rites of the ceremony is to see if a person can really, be like God over death and life. So they pierced them with the sword through the chest. And when they take the sword out, it's the same like the hand. No wound, no blood, and mind over body type shit. They actually got a video of one of Hitler white, crazy white men, and he was letting men stab him through the chest. That video's on YouTube. He was letting, it's a real video. They stabbing him through the chest, doctors, and they baffled. Like, why he's not dying or bleeding? And it was hard to get it in him and get it out. And it's like, oh my God, how is he doing this? And he went through some type of that Buddhist training that they go through. But like I said, men went through these trainings, these rites of ceremonies before they were inducted into the brotherhood. Now, Jesus, or what we would call the man Jesus, so you could just separate that whole name or whatever. But this guy went out into the world basically trying to show people, it's all about the spirit within you. The spirit within you, this is your connection to the true creator. This God stuff y'all talking, that's not no creator. Men create, but there's a source of creation that started the ball of it. And we all have that source of energy within us. We are that ball, and now we keep the ball rolling. But if you get in tune with that part of self, that is the God connection to the creator. That's everything. And you can do great things, more than you're doing now, living in your lower state. Doubting yourself, having fears and insecurities. But if you can tap in and just grasp that you're more than that, you don't have to live in this low state and have fears and things like this. There is no dying, but there's just spirits in bodies and spirits out of it, and it's just deep. But he went through this. He went out to the world trying to teach this, and eventually he was what we know of the story of him being crucified and killed and all of that, and becoming God in the text. But all of that's a lie. What truly happened was this: he taught or whatever. They, like y'all know the story, they accused him of blasphemy. Now they burnt him first, so the ass whipping that they gave him, all that was real. They gave him the ass whipping, but there was no damage being done. He already went through the rites and the ceremony, so he spirit over body. So when they're beating him and shit like that, the story we know of, and he's all beat up, and that's how it's being told. But in real life, they just beat him the fuck up and nothing happened. I mean, they knock him on the floor or whatever they do, but it leaves no wound, no scratch, no scrape, no effect. So they're like, let's crucify him. We gonna nail him to the cross. That's gonna affect him. The whip may not be slashing his body, but the nail through his hands and feet gonna affect him. Because, he's teaching all of this. The spirit is higher than the body and so on and so forth. This is why Jesus wouldn't fight them back. Because he's like, they can't affect me in any way. So it don't matter what they do. This is why he told Paul or whoever, when they came and Paul tried to slice the nigga ear off, and he like, no, don't fight them. Because whatever they do to me, I went through this in the rites of the ceremonies. It's already been proven that my spirit is pure. They can't do shit to me. So they nailed him to the cross and left him there. But no blood, no wound. They took him off the cross, no blood, no wound. He's just there, like, praying, babbling in his meditative state. And they like, what the fuck is up with this dude? Like, we got him hanging from the cross. He not dying, he just sitting there babbling. But he's in meditative state, and they like, he just babbling. So you know how that go. They like, stab him with the sword. Took that nigga off the cross and stabbed him through the chest with the spear. Grasp. He already went through the rites of ceremony and did that. So when they pierced him with the sword, nothing happened. It went in his body, out the other side of his body. They pulled it out, and no wound, no blood. And he just looking at them, still talking the same shit. Like, and they like, what the fuck is this nigga? So they deep cold-blooded. Bury that motherfucker. He'll die then. So it's deep. They put him in a tomb. They like, He might could take all of that, but he got to breathe. Put him in the tomb, seal it up. Seal that shit up. They put Jesus in the tomb. They came back in 3 days, and the motherfucker was standing there, babbling still, doing his meditative state. And then the guards that was sent to go get him and see if he was dead, they like, this motherfucker's alive. So they scared shitless. When the motherfucker like, okay, I'm walking out of here, bye. You think they gonna stop him? They like, oh, what the fuck? They scared to death for this nigga. They like, yo, you can't kill him. Now they can't go back and tell the king, hey, we went to go get Jesus, the motherfucker still wasn't dead. Cause then the king gonna be like, so where he at? Why you didn't bring him? What they gonna say? He beat us up? He don't fight. So they had to lie. They like, oh, he rose from the dead. We went there, he wasn't there. But they know like he was there, but what? I'm scared of this nigga. Let him go. Where he going? We just gonna say he rose from the dead and left. Like, fuck all this. They gonna believe he rose from the dead and left because they stabbed him and shit. He ain't die. So they gotta believe that. But we can't go back and be like, oh, he was just standing there still babbling, not dead. And we didn't bring him here because we was scared. We scared of him. The king gonna be like, what? You scared? And they would have got beheaded. So it's a deep thing. So they like, yeah, he rose from the dead. So this is how you get the whole story of Jesus is like God. And this is how you truly got that. Because they couldn't kill him. But it's deep. It wasn't just Jesus. It's many men from the far east that went through this rites of ceremonies. And I know y'all like, I'm not making this up. This